Gonna make the profiles boom, 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 boom. What it is, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is today on Gunner's Profiles. What it is real talk, real life by a real one. What it isn't is added preservatives. We're not gonna get into no fakery, no shaky and bakery, none of that bullshit right here. We're gonna talk about real as that motherfucking Mac Mall old school illegal business album in the bag goes. You know what it is. My name is Young Gun Gunman, and this is my opinion. I'm just merely giving my opinions on certain subjects and things here. Don't take it to heart. I see there's a lot of individuals out there. It's like every fucking thing I say, they have a problem with it. And it ain't no mystery or history based on the simple fact that a punk ass Mark got snatched in the dark and now it's just like that. I'm gonna told you once but never twice. I'm a hustler on the run with a gat in the pack and a strap and a tech clean 2 size gun. Bang bang, allegedly. Now look, we're gonna get straight into this, right? Asians. Okay, my Asian partners, man. Shout out some respects to my Hmongs, Vietnamese, Cambodians, Laos, Mien, all the individuals that comprise the Asian community, right? I got a lot of love and a lot of respect for these people. I've spoken about them in the past because they're such a respectful people, man. And they definitely had a big, heavy influence in the Central Valley in the 90s and what they were getting into, man. But this video is based on the Asians just don't give a fuck. As you can tell by the thumbnail, Orderly Bolo Young, say it with your chest. That motherfucker did, right? You definitely kicked motherfucking holes through Frank Duke's chest, right? Now, they just didn't give a fuck. You know, back in the 90s, growing up around the Asians, I remember, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, and I'm not trying to be cliche or racial or anything like that. There was a very few that I was friends with that I actually had a common understanding or a relationship with as far as, man, we chop it up. And respects to them cats at the HBO MOD, the TRG cats, man. I definitely affiliated with them and have a lot of association with them as far as, you know, back and forth and conversations. And they were cool, just cool dudes, straight up, facts. Now, they didn't give a fuck, bro. Okay, they were different. You know, whereas in Mexicanos, Chicanos, Africano brothers, that's right. I said Africano brothers, you know, the black Americans. And, you know, the whites, sprinkle them in wood. We all kind of played our gang mentality and the way we were doing things. We played it according to our course, meaning we did it according to the rules, regulations that we set for ourselves. You know, nobody wanted to go to jail. There's very few people in this world that want to end up behind bars. They want to end up in a fucking dungeon. They want to end up in prison walking them yards because it's a treacherous and dangerous place to be. But not only that, you're away from your family, gotta get a pussy, right? You're just going through the whole struggle. And so nobody wants to do that. Now, of course, you're going to involve yourself in illegal activities on the streets. You're going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And you always know in the back of your mind, hey, I'm taking a penitentiary chance. There's a chance that I might not come back from this one. You know, the greed and the money, you know, outweighs the consequences and the situation you may put yourself in. And it's cool. You know, some guys are about that life. They're dedicated to that. For one reason or another. Some, they just want to come up and get a big ass bag. Some, they want to impress people around them. Some, that's just their mentality. That's all they know. They come from poverty. They come from having nothing. And they're trying to have a little something, something. Hey, I can't blame them. I was once in that situation where I wanted a new Nintendo game. I was tired of playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Ordered it, you know? I was tired of knocking out Glass Joe in the first round. Now, I definitely wanted things, so I chose to go the criminal way of doing it instead of getting off my lazy ass and going to work. And, you know, being a man, you know, as a young kid, you don't really have that option. You know, you see it around you. You see illegal activities. You see things going on around you. You also see your tios and your fucking enfito or whoever the case may be, a positive role model in your life, getting up every morning, okay, putting on them boots, getting their fucking little burrito, chorizo and huevo, and then going to work. Okay, but that's too much. Now, fuck that. He looks disappointed in life, eh? So the way he put his boots on, to the degree of putting his boots on, that fool was real fucking unrighteously fucking. He was sad about that, but really he was being a man. Okay, now fuck that. I'm gonna go stay at JCPenney's today. That's it, plain and simple. I need a new Raiders jacket, and that's the route many of us have chosen. Now we all played by rules. Whether you believe it or not, you broke rules, but played by the rules at the same time. It's just the way. That's the way of the world. That's the way of the barrio. That's the way of the hoods. You know, you're going to mind somebody. Because everybody can go night-night. Say it with your chest. You're going to mind somebody. And in Menudo style in a direct fashion, fools ain't playing. Your big homeboys, man, they're going to give it to you or they're going to give it to you. And it's just up to you to decipher, man, what rules and regulations you're going to follow. Because you know you fuck up, homies, you're going to be in a bad situation. That's just how it is. In the gang underworld and criminal life, in life in general, man, there's always going to be rules. You know, you get pulled over. What are you pulling me over for? So what, you're fucking drinking a 40 ounce, eh? Where's that a rule? Right? Yeah, it's a rule. Okay, you got to follow rules. The Asians didn't care about none of that shit back in the days. Or so it seemed to me. Now, I'm sure they policed their own people, meaning they had rules and regulations in their hoods and their street politics and whatever they had going on. You know, that's their business. But at the same time, and I would never be privy to that. But one thing I did know is the attitude or the aura that they put off is they just didn't give a fuck, homie. You know, with the Asians, people walked lightly around them, at least in Northern California. In Southern California, I can't speak on that. You know, I know they were at guerra and I know they did their thing, man, and that's their business. But up north was a little bit more different as far as the Central Valle. Now, I know in Tulare County, man, there's been extensive war between the Norteños and the Asians going back to the 90s. But up north, there never was much of that. You know, it was little tit for tat, little fucking skirmishes here and there. But for the most part, in Merced, growing up, Holmes, we always got along with the Asians. You know, it wasn't out of fear of what they had because, indubitably, allegedly, they had some shit, right? It was more so of the aura and the attitude they put out. Highly respectful people just doing their own thing, worried about their own. See, never got involved in other people's politics and other people's business. You didn't see, and I didn't see the Asians around me fighting with the blacks or the Asians fighting with the whites. There was a few woods there, brother. They were down, right? The dirty white boys was about their business. I don't mean to disrespect. That was a hood in Merced called Dirty White Boys, right? And of course, the Norteños and the Southsiders that were there never got into it with the Asians for two reasons. One reason, just how cool they were, respectful. Like I said, the interactions that were there, it was always love and always just a little, hey, that's right, bro, do your thing, you motherfuckers. And two, everybody knows, and it's unsaid, man, but I'm going to say it because fuck it, man. You don't fuck with them Asian cats, man. They got yoppers, right? They've always been known to have those things. Where they get them and to what degree of getting them, I can't call it like an alcoholic, man. But they always had that, right? And so you knew that if you got into some type of friction or tension with the Asians, you was coming up short, or at least you was coming up clapped. And that's, they just didn't care. They were quick to go that route. You know, they come from, a lot of them were second generational. The ones that I fucked with, where their familias came from war-torn situations. They're refugees. They fled, war. They fled guerra. They fled, a lot of these kids grew up without parents. Their parents were murdered or killed, and they didn't have, that. They had to go with other family members that they didn't know. They had to adjust to the rules and regulations of what was going on in California street politics. They had to adjust to gang life. They had to adjust to school. They had to adjust to a lot of different things. And because of them being the minority in certain situations, a lot of people looked down upon the Laotians and the Hmong and the Mian people. I myself never did. I always respected that struggle and respected that plight. I was taught a different way. I was taught, hey, respect everyone around you because you're unknowing of what they're capable of. Never underestimate or overestimate. But at the same time, man, just be the righteous one that you could be and know that everybody has a different story, man. And your story is not any worse or any better than theirs. But don't knock them for theirs. So I definitely had, like I said, certain situations where I found myself around the Asians and we was always cool. I can't sit here and say we ever went to war, we fought. I never had that. I think maybe in elementary school or maybe right when I went to 6th grade before I got locked up, I might have, had a couple fades or one-on-ones with some Asian cats just based on difference in fucking, similar. We weren't similar in certain situations and we didn't agree. And fucking, I'll catch that fade. Orale, him, so I got a taper for your ass. And that's it. But as far as any animosity towards the people, there never was that. And for the simple fact, like I said, they just didn't give a fuck and they had them thanks. Growing up in the 90s, that's when Asian gangs started to take notice of them. I know there's a lot of Asian gangs that are mainstream now that a lot of people see or they heard about, like the Asian Boys and the Tiny Rascal Gang, out of Long Beach, Fresno, that area of Visalia. The Oriental Troops, MOD, Menace of Destruction, Masters of Destruction, whatever you may call them. They had a big presence in Merced, and still do have quite a presence. Homeboys Only, HBO, the Mongolian Boy Society, the Modesto Hit Squad, which were a Cambodian gang, man, that wreaked havoc in the city of Modesto. The Oriental Ruthless Boys, El Camino Boys, Horny Boys out of Las Vegas. You definitely had so many different, the Vietnamese Boys, so many different gangs and so many different ethnicities. See, just like in the Latino and the Raza, We have different ethnicities. We may all be brown. We all may talk Spanish. Well, fuck. I mean, I'll try, right? We all may look the same or act the same, homes, but it doesn't mean we're comprised of the same exact ethnicity. You know, we got different parts to our culture. It's a beautiful culture. It's a beautiful thing. But at the same time, we're thrown into a similar pot, homes, and we're all not all the same flavor. You know, it doesn't make anyone better than the next man. It just means we're different. You know what I mean? Give us I like tortillas. He likes pita bread. Fuck it. You know what I mean? That's just the way it's going to go. You know what I mean? I like carne asada. He likes jamon. Spencer, orale, Cuban, stand up. It's just a little bit different, but very similar. Now, being incarcerated and doing a little bit of time around Asians, man, I can say they don't change up. They don't switch up. The Asian community are about their people. You know, whether they're Crips or Bloods or North or South or whatever, you know, gang that they're involved in on the streets, for the most part, when they do become incarcerated, they do join up, click up with the other car, and they're just about their people. You know, if everyone was just about their people, man, there'd be some strong forces to be reckoned with. You know, they remind me in a similar style to the Africano brothers, because the blacks in prison, yes, they do comprise different gangs in different areas. But at the same time, man, if push comes to shove, man, if it's going to be war, then they're going to come together as a people. It's always about their people first. And I've been in situations where the brown was the same thing. You know, if it was going to be a racial war or something to that degree, man, I have seen the North and South come together as people to handle their business. There has been certain situations, not a lot, but certain situations where it was necessary. Okay, if it was always like that, I think there'd be a lot more money, a lot more unity, a lot more love for everybody. There'd be a lot less violence and a lot less static, because people would think twice about trying to get at one certain fucking group, you know, because they're up short on this yard or you know, the situations. Some people are fucking deeper. Some people are up short. You know, it just varies from yard to yard. And that's just the way prison is, you know. That's that life. I'm glad I'm not in it and I'm not involved in it, because I've already done mine and I just don't want to be involved in that anymore. That's their biz, and let them handle their shit, right? Now, the Asians, what I respect about them as a people is, like I said, that I don't give a fuck attitude. Motherfucker, what's happening? Right? They don't give a fuck. You know, I partied with, I had a couple homeboys. One homeboy that was actually a Norteño. He was from a hood in Merced, and he was Asian. And so that was my first glimpse into their lifestyle, glimpse into their household, glimpse into some of the things and some of the cultural ways of them. And I actually would go to his house, and he was, what was the homeboy, man? I think he was Cambodian. You know, I think he was Cambodian. But I would go to his house, and I would see the way his jefito was. You know, his jefito was straight out the fucking jungles, man. He wasn't playing. He had pigs and goats hanging from his fucking ceiling and all kinds of shit. They were different, right? But he made that sticky rice with the padat. That shit was bomb, right? For those of you that don't know, I can't explain it to you. Just fuck with it. You know, I ate pho and all kinds of different things. And it just gave me a different perspective on how they got down. Now, of course, him growing up around Mexicanos, my homeboy, he chose to go that route and carry himself in the ways of the raza. And of course, he was a Norteño, and he was fighting, you know, first and foremost for the gente. But he would go back to his people, and of course, he'd get his Buddha on, and he'd do his thing. And I respected that. You know, that's one thing I respect in this world, is everybody's different. You know, everybody has the right to be different. You know, if there was no differences, if nobody was different, we were all just the same, it'd be a boring motherfucker around here. Imagine if it was all the same pussy just waiting to get fucked. It'd be boring. That's why I like a white girl every once in a while, because the wind's blowing. You know what I mean? Africano, you already know. I spoke on it the other day. Tortas, and the winner is, right? Everything needs to be different in life for it to be enjoyable. If it was the same old existence, it'd be the same old thing. Now, the Asians have that difference. You know, they never fall stray away from their roots. You know, now, of course, they've adapted to their surroundings. They've adapted and shit. They've taken it to the next level. You know, I remember being associated, you know, out of state with a family member. I consider him a family member now. He's from an Asian gang out of state, and a ruthless ass motherfucking gang, a treacherous hood. And going around them and being embraced and you know, being able to hang around them, you know, not having many homeboys being out there like, hey, what's up, fool? And chilling with him because he's like a brother of mine, you know. I'm telling you right now, they wiggle differently. But when it comes push time and it comes shove time and it comes time to time, clickety clack, 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 they don't hesitate to do that. Now, I've always wondered why. You know, and I'm not saying that everyone's not about that clap action. Everybody is. There's hitters from everywhere. That's facts. But these guys take it to the extreme. The youngest guy has a Uzi. You know what I mean? Allegedly. That's just the way they are. It's just the DNA, the makeup of them. I don't know if they're like, hey, if they're not a violent people, but if they have to go that route, they're going to take it to that extreme. Kind of like the Usos. Shout out Soli. You know what I mean? My Uso partners. You know I got nothing but love for the Polynesian players, right? They're the same way. One of the most respectful people. They'll give you the fucking food on the last shirt on their back. You ain't going to fit you because it's about 6X, right? But they're going to give you, I mean, just love. But you don't fuck with them. Because they'll choke your whole fucking eyeball out, right? They're not playing. When they go to the extreme. They don't know quit. They don't know slow down. They don't know that. It's full force. Orale. Finally, The Rock. You know what I mean? They get their rock on. Their Dwayne Johnson on. That's just how it is. And the Asians fall into the same category. I think that's why they function together on the yada as others. They have a lot of similarities in their get downs. You know, a lot of maybe cultural differences, but a lot of similarities in the way that they treat people and the way that they act. They're willing to go to the extreme. They're willing to not just give a fuck. Anyways, you know, I wanted to speak on the Asian people because I got a lot of respect, man. I got a homeboy I've been hanging out with lately who's Asian. And he was like, hey, do something on us. And I said, I have done in the past, you know. He goes, yeah, that was more gang related, though. I want to hear more about my people and your perspective on them in general. Not as gang members, but just the Asian community. I know they get, you know, hated on. I know there's a lot of hate, you know, towards that community. I know people are, they can't fucking drive. They can't do that. You know, that's furthest from the truth. These people are humble. They bring a lot of professionalism in the class. And they bring a lot of differences and a lot of spice, man, to what we got going on. We need everybody. This is what comprises a world, man. A little bit of everybody. So that way we see the differences and we know there's more out there. And we know that there's bomb pussy out there, right? That's what it's all about. And we know that there's ways. These are very intelligent people because they're strict to their people. You know, they believe in education first and they believe you know, in going out there and taking care of your family. They're very family and goal orientated, and that's why they always got fucking BMWs and family. You know what I mean? The brown people we need to take advantage of that fucking playbook. Order the Belichick, steal that shit, right? We just need our just dues. Anyways, man, I just wanted to speak on that today. Give a little bit of a different type of feel for my content. You know, a perspective. You know, the Asians, man. You know, they're a slept-on group. They're slept-on people. Whether it's gang life. Whether it's, you know, out there working in the workforce, you know, they always got the good holidays, you know, because they educate themselves and they take care of each other. You know, every interaction I've had has always been a great one or a good one. I've never had no difficulties. So when I see people with this Asian hatred or when I see people ridiculing them for one reason or another or thinking they're soft, they're the furthest from soft. These are some of the hardest fucking vicious people I've ever met when it comes crunch time. They just don't give a fuck. Don't get caught up with a bolo young in the motherfucking alley. Because I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to knock your windpipe backwards. That's just how they get down. Anyways, shout out and respects to all my Asian partners, man. Those who I'm familiar with, that I fuck with, and those that I ain't. The Asian community, man, much love. With that being said, just a little bit of a different perspective here today. A little bit different. We're going to switch it up. Like I said, man, it's time to get away from certain elements of certain things. Not because I'm scared or because I'm being told to or because I'm being pushed in a certain direction, but it's time to expand one's mind. You know, I hear certain people out there, oh, this is what got you started and you're turning your back on it. I'm not turning my back on prison genres or prison talk, but I just think there's more in the world to talk about. There's certain things I cannot talk about just based on YouTube doesn't agree with certain things and they like to shut your shop down, Holmes, when you're speaking on certain things. If they don't feel are righteous, that's how it is. It's not that I'm not fucking my mind is just I got a one-track mind and I can't think about other things. There's a lot more to this world out there that I know about, that I'm educated on, but there's just certain things that my platform can't speak on just based on, man, YouTube got to be in a caja. Based how it is. Facts. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I hope that you get down with the get down, that you go and help out your family because they're the ones that really need you and you need them. You know, at the end of the day. If you like this, please hit that like and subscribe with a thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the Sonic's crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I truly believe in, and that's the coming together for the people, by the people. For those of you that don't believe in that and don't like that, hey, you're entitled to your opinion, but your shit stinks. The gun. Bang, bang, and in that fashion.